Okay, so here's where I already started. As you saw in the pictures previously, there's a big X over here. So I didn't do a video as I was going, and I decided, you know what, maybe I should. So here's halfway through. See, I'm putting the little braces up here instead, and what I'm using is the existing wood that was there. I'm just using that. So let me just get here closer. So what I'm doing is, like I said, these are the 2x6s, and basically what I'm doing is I'm just sandwiching them together. So I glued them together. There we go. I glued them together. My idea was just to give more support. I just put the two together. So I glued them last night. I also put screws in here because some of the boards are warped. So I have two screws down here, two down there, and on the other side I just put two in the middle. So then what I'm going to do is cut a 45-degree on each side, and I'm going to use these for the braces. So I've got to do this side here still, but I did these yesterday. So I'll go over some tools that I'm going to use, but the idea was take down those great big old cross beams and then do these braces. So when you're sitting here, you no longer have those beams passing you, and it opens up the backyard. These boards are 40 inches long. The lengthwise, you know, the longer it is, the more stability I guess it has. I just did 40 just to math. That's what it came up to. It was 80 inches altogether, so I just cut them 40. It's pretty good. So let me show you some tools that I used. The glue is just you can't really see it. Anyway, the glue, I just bought some waterproof glue. Figured, hey, it's outside, why not be waterproof? I did use some of these. This is what I'm using. So the only reason I went with these, one, they were a little cheaper than other ones. Two, you know, I liked how it had the head on here and it would grab. The only thing I would change is I'd probably buy 6-inch instead of 4, and I'll go explain that in a minute. Also, I would probably do bolts, like the head where you can do a socket. I've had a couple of these. Once you really tighten them down, it's kind of tricky. They may strip out. Once it strips out, you know, you're pretty much screwed. So if I had to do it over again, I would probably do 6 inches, and I would get some kind of bolts instead. These still work great though, so if you like these, the reason I went with these is so I could recess the holes and put a little plug in there, so it could be something to think about. Also, it gives you a little bit, and just putting them in the sun so you can see better. The bit here, when I use my drill, it's just not powerful enough, so I just end up putting it in a socket and then using the ratchet just to get some torque on it. The recess here is a 5/8. I'll show you that. And these are the screws I used right here. Oops, right here. The idea is I just got some deck screws. That way they would look nice with them being black. So let me show you over here. So here's what I was talking about, is recess. The bolts right here are the screws. This is a 5/8. I just put them in there, and that way I can put some plugs in there. Okay, just to show everyone the way I'm cutting my 45-degree angles, I have a miter saw. You can totally use you know, any kind of saw really. Just for peace of mind, because I'm not a carpenter, what I do is I come over here and I I mark the area I want to cut off. I want to cut off this area, same on the other side. Also what I do is I determine which side I want on the inside of the patio or outside. So any of the wood that looked like it was, you know, knots or whatever, I'm doing on the inside just to help protect it. So just to show you, this is what I use. I just wanted to show you guys. This is the one I have. But keep in mind when you do these 45-degree cuts, can't really see it. It doesn't cut all the way through. If you do, 90-degree cuts, of course, it cuts all the way through. So what I have to do now is I just have to flip this and then cut it. So just keep that in mind. You can buy bigger miter saws and stuff. And the same I'll have to do on the other side also. Okay, once I had my 45-degree angles cut, what I did is I would measure 3 inches from, oops, I guess you can see better, 3 inches from the bottom. There you go, 3 inches. And the idea, just turn this over, 3 inches here is where the bolt's going to go through, 3 inches here. Because what I'm going to do, let me just give you a visual. Here's the 3 inches. I'm going to drill straight into this because I want the bolt or screw, whichever, I want it to be flush up against the beam. Well, the reason I said earlier I would probably go with 6 inches here instead of 4 is because when you drill through this way, like this, you want a certain amount to stick. When you drill through like this, you want a certain amount to stick out into the stud or into the beam, whatever you want to call it. So I recess these in a little bit so I can put a wood plug there. If I had to do this all over again, I would get 6 inches and would go more into the middle. I don't want to recess this in all the way to here. So really, if you had 6 inches, you could still recess into about there, but then have it stick out a lot more. Also, the thing that I was worried about, the reason I got 4 inches, is I knew I had to put screws here to hold the boards together as I glued them because they were kind of warped. So I was afraid, which you could still do it looking back at it, I wasn't sure if this screw would end up interfering with this. So that's why for me I go to 3 inches here. The main reason is so I can put this screw through. That one that just fell. Okay, so now these are cut at the 45-degree angle, as you can see. So what I did is you just drill here, go this way, and you want it where it's perpendicular to this angle. So as you drill through, it's going to end up coming out. Do like this. Okay, here's the drill. You're going straight. As you go straight in, it's going to come out over here. And the idea of that is that way when you tighten up the screw, this is going to be tight up against the beam. Also, it's good to note, do it in the middle. Make sure your drill does not drift. If it drifts or you go on an angle, when it comes out to the other side that everyone can see, it's going to be offset. So it's very important to make sure that you do it straight. And I only have 2 hands, so I gotta put the phone down. Okay, once you drill through the back side, you're gonna see the holes come out here. So then to take this and you end up just drilling in here. So the best way of doing it, I wouldn't worry about going like this. You want it where it's flat. So what you do is you hold the board up where this is flat on a table. So that's what I'm talking about. You just lift the board up and where it's flat like that. So then when you drill, it's gonna be hard to do it. But when you drill, you're gonna go straight down. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, you sick yet? So anyway, have the board straight, flat, down here, and then I'm just going to put this here, and you're going to keep it straight, and as you do it, okay, here's the recess where one's finished. I did put tape on the drill, and you can't see it, there you go, but that really didn't make a difference. The reason I put tape was so I know where I could stop, and I just did it visual. So I don't have them in there super deep, but deep enough so I can put a wood plug in there. Also, I just want to note that the hole drill that I'm using is a 5/8. These bolts have a 5/8 head, so it fits in there perfectly. So just keep that in mind. Whatever you use, try to have a hole just a little bit larger so it goes in. Okay, here's an example. The hole to the left, you can see when I drilled through, it must have drifted a little bit, and you can see how the hole is a little bit off-centered, and when I drill to do the recess, it's going to stand out even more. So just point that out. Try to do it as straight as you can. Yeah, here's the same hole to the left. It's not too bad, but if your OCD is as bad as mine, that's going to drive you crazy. Okay, since this is the first time ever doing this, these braces are a pain in the butt to do by yourself. They're about 9.5 feet up, so I'm doing it on a ladder. It's a pain in the butt. I got to redo this one because it's off. Oh man, even in the video it's even more. So anyway, see how they're different? So I need to reposition this one. But they're a pain in the butt to do by yourself. So if you have a helper, that's great. I'm gonna go with this idea. Once again, I'm not a carpenter, so I'm learning as I go. I'm gonna put this here so I can just rest it on top, and maybe that'll help me be able to screw it in myself. Okay, finally got them all up. This one right here, I'm gonna take down and redo. Can't really tell, but it's about 3/4 inches down, just a tad. This one, and this one are all within a 1/4 inch of each other. So that one, since it's right next to this, is driving me crazy. So I'll take that down, and we'll give it a try. Okay, got everything finished except filling the holes. Got a hole there, got a hole there. I'm gonna fill those in and obviously stain it. But I got the braces finished. It was fairly easy to do, it's just it was hard to put these up by yourself. So if you have a partner or a helper, depending on how you go, but anyway, someone to help you, it'd be great. You can see here I no longer have those cross beams, so this like makes a huge difference as far as looking back into the woods. Alright, on this side, just to show you, I got a bunch of junk up there still. But I did readjust this one here. Didn't get it exact, but I ended up moving it about 1/2 inch. So that brings it in less than 1/4 inch compared to the other ones. So I'm cool with that. As long as you don't tell anyone, no one will know. So once again, opened up a lot more space. So if you guys found this video helpful, go ahead and subscribe. I use all the extra money I get for subscriptions for motorcycle parts. As you guys know, I'm pretty cheap, so anything helps. Anyway, like I said in other videos, I'm not a carpenter, so anything you follow on this, you do at your own risk. Also, I have these wood slabs here. I'm going to go ahead and install these wood slabs out here as like a little countertop bar. So I'll be doing that soon. If you want to see that, go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell, and then you'll get the notification. Alright, thanks for watching.